There is nowhere else you need to arrive tonight. For now, you may let the day become distant. You do not need to review it. You do not need to prepare every part of tomorrow. The hours ahead can remain unopened. Settle into the place where you are resting. You may adjust a pillow, let your hands fall into a comfortable position, or allow your eyes to close. If closing them does not feel right, your gaze can simply soften. There is no need to force sleep. Rest is already a kind of arrival. Notice the natural movement of your breathing. It may be quiet, light, uneven, or slow. No breath needs to be changed. The body knows how to breathe while you listen, while you wander, and while you sleep. Perhaps your forehead can become smoother. Your jaw may loosen. Your shoulders may settle. Let your arms be carried. Let your back, hips, and legs receive the support beneath them. Thoughts may still appear. Imagine placing each one in a small covered basket near the door of a cottage. The baskets can remain there through the night. Nothing inside will be lost. Nothing needs to be opened until morning. Somewhere beyond those resting baskets, an island begins to appear. It rises from a calm sea beneath a warm evening sky. The island is green and gently shaped, with low hills, quiet beaches, orchards, gardens, and white cottages tucked among trees. It is called the Island of Gentle Mornings, though evening is settling over it now. A narrow ferry has brought you to a sheltered harbor. The crossing was smooth and easy, and the boat is already tied safely at the pier. The water inside the harbor barely moves. A woman named Leora waits beneath a striped awning. She is the island's keeper of lamps. Beside her stands a handcart holding one large lantern made from clear glass and pale wood. The lantern is not lit. Every evening, she says, we place the first light somewhere on the island. By morning it becomes the last light to fade. Tonight you may choose where it rests. She speaks as though there is no wrong answer. We can visit a few places. The lantern will be welcome in any of them. The handcart rolls easily. Leora takes one handle, leaving space for you beside her, though the lantern is so light that the cart almost moves on its own. The harbor village is quiet. Fishermen have covered their boats for the night. Baskets are stacked beneath the market roof. A cafe closes its shutters but leaves one table outside, set with a pitcher of water and 2 glasses for late walkers. Warm light fills the bakery window. Round loaves rest on cooling racks. Above the village, swallows circle once beneath the roofline and settle. The first path leads toward the western beach. It follows a line of tamarisk trees whose narrow leaves move in the sea breeze. The air is warm but not hot. Sand lies smooth beyond low dunes. The water is calm, touched with rose and gold from the setting sun. At the center of the beach stands a small pavilion with a tiled roof. Its open sides face the sea. Cushions rest on a wide bench, and a shallow stone bowl waits in the center for a lantern. Leora stops the cart. Some evenings the first light stays here, she says. Sailors see it from the harbor and know the island is at rest. You lift the lantern together and place it in the bowl without lighting it. For a moment, you imagine the pavilion after dark. The lantern would glow across the sand. Its reflection would form a warm line on the water. Anyone walking the beach would see a place to sit. It would be a good home for the light. There is no need to decide yet. You return the lantern to the cart and continue inland. The path enters an orchard. Rows of orange, fig, and almond trees spread across a shallow valley. Their branches make a cool green roof above the path. Fruit hangs among the leaves, some ripe, some still small, all in their own time. At the orchard's center is a circular terrace paved with pale stone. A long table stands beneath an old fig tree. Tonight, the dishes have already been cleared after a shared meal. Only a blue cloth, a bowl of late peaches, and several clay cups remain. A gardener is sweeping crumbs from the terrace for the birds to find in the morning. She greets Leora and rests both hands on the broom. "The fig tree has been asking for a lantern," she says, looking up into the branches. "Or perhaps I have been asking on its behalf." Her smile is gentle. A hook hangs from a low limb, strong and smooth. You hold the unlit lantern beneath it. Here, the first light would shine through broad leaves. It would glow above the long table while the orchard settled. In the morning, its glass would catch the first sun among the fruit. Another good place. The gardener places one peach in the cart for you and one for Leora. The fruit is cool and fragrant. You may taste it as you walk or save it for later. Beyond the orchard, the path passes through a terraced garden arranged by color. The lowest terrace holds flowers in the shades of early morning, pale peach, cream, and the soft pink of clouds before sunrise. The next terrace is planted with blues and silvers, colors of the island just before night. The highest holds green herbs and white blossoms that seem to belong equally to dawn and moonlight. At the center of each terrace is a low stone niche, where the first lantern may be placed. You try the lantern in the lowest niche. Warm glass beside peach flowers makes the garden feel like morning remembered in advance. In the blue terrace, the same light appears deeper and more golden. Among the herbs, its glow reveals thyme leaves, fennel stems, and white petals no larger than stars. A gardener is tying back a climbing rose. She pauses to watch the lantern move from terrace to terrace. "The garden likes every version," she says. "It never asks us to choose a favorite color." She gives you a small bundle of lemon thyme for the cottage table. The leaves release a clean fragrance when they brush the side of the cart. The lantern returns to its place, and the path rises gradually toward a warm spring. Stone walls shelter a garden of ferns and flowering ginger. Water moves through a series of shallow pools, each one clear enough to show smooth pebbles beneath. The air carries a soft mineral warmth. No one is bathing now. Folded towels rest inside a covered cabinet. Wooden sandals stand neatly beside the path. A tea room nearby has its sliding doors open to the garden. At the upper pool is a stone shelf built into the wall. Leora places the lantern there. "When the first light rests at the spring," she says, "the steam carries its glow through the garden." You imagine the lantern reflected in the clear pool, one light above and one below. The ferns would become deep green around it. The path would remain easy to follow. This too would be a peaceful choice. You leave the spring by a path that curves through a shell courtyard. The courtyard belongs to no single house. It is a shared resting place built around an old olive tree. Low walls are decorated with smooth shells, pieces of sea glass, and pale tiles set into simple patterns. At the center is a stone table with a shallow hollow for the lantern. Leora places it there. If the first light stayed in the shell courtyard, its glow would move across hundreds of curved surfaces. The walls would hold small moons of pearl, green, blue, and cream. Anyone crossing between the harbor and the spring would find a quiet place beneath the olive branches. A breeze turns a row of wooden chimes hanging beneath the roof, but they make only the faintest hollow notes, more like breath moving through reeds than music. On the far wall, visitors have left small drawings scratched into clay tablets: a cup, a boat tied to a pier, a loaf of bread, a window with light inside. None is signed. You choose one blank tablet and press the edge of the lantern's wooden frame lightly into the soft clay, leaving a simple square. The mark needs no explanation. It will dry there overnight. Another good place for the light. Past the courtyard is a narrow grove of carob trees. Their leaves make shifting patterns across the path. At the center of the grove stands a tiny open workshop where islanders repair baskets, chairs, and shutters. The day's work has ended. A half-mended cane chair rests on the table with a cloth over it. Bundles of reeds hang from the rafters. A jar holds smooth wooden pegs. The workshop keeper has left a note for Leora. The lantern stand by the library is ready again. Nothing is urgent. The message simply completes one small circle of care. You follow a shaded lane toward the island library. The library is a low white building with blue shutters and a roof covered in flowering vines. Its front terrace looks over the sea on the eastern side of the island. Inside, shelves hold books in several languages. Wide chairs face open windows. A librarian is placing linen covers over the reading tables. She shows you a small alcove at the center of the room. The lantern used to stay here in winter, she says. Travelers would come in before dawn and read beside it until the sun rose. The alcove contains a round table and one empty stand. You place the lantern there briefly. Warm light would reach the nearest shelves. It would touch maps, poems, cookbooks, stories, and blank journals waiting for new pages. From the eastern windows, dawn would arrive slowly. Another good home. The librarian gives you a thin book with no title on the cover. For your cottage, she says, it is mostly pictures, you need not finish it. The book joins the peach in the cart. Outside, evening deepens. Before the hill path, Leora leads you to a tea terrace built over a shallow garden pond. Round stepping stones cross the water, but a wide wooden walkway follows the edge, smooth and easy. Lotus leaves float beneath low lanterns. A small tea house stands open, its tables cleared and its cushions stacked. One table remains set for two. A pot of island herb tea rests beneath a woven cover. Beside it are almond biscuits and a dish of sliced pear. Leora pours the tea, and you sit where the terrace looks back toward the library. The blue shutters are being closed one pair at a time. Warm rectangles become narrow lines, then disappear, leaving the final window glowing above the door. The pond reflects the first star. Leora tells you that the first light was once placed here for an entire season. Each morning, gardeners used it to see the path before dawn. By the time the sun rose, the lantern was surrounded by open lotus flowers. Every place changes what the light reveals, she says, but the light remains simple. You eat one biscuit if you like. It tastes of almond and orange peel. The tea is mild and warm. A small fish moves beneath the lotus leaves, creating a widening circle on the water. The reflection of the star breaks apart and gathers again. When you leave, the tea housekeeper will collect the cups. Nothing needs to be washed or put away by you. The path climbs a low hill covered in soft grass. From the top, you can see much of the island. The western beach is now pale beneath the fading sky. The orchard lies dark green in its valley. Steam rises gently from the spring garden. The library windows glow on the eastern slope. At the center of the hill is a ring of stone seats. Wild thyme grows between them. There is no building and no tall edge, only a broad, safe summit beneath the open sky. A wooden post stands in the middle, made to hold the lantern. You set it there. If the first light stayed on the hill, it would be seen from almost everywhere. The harbor village would see it above the rooftops. The orchard would see it between the branches. The spring would see it through the drifting steam. The island itself would appear to have a small star resting on the grass. Leora sits on one of the stone seats. Some people choose the highest place, she says. Some choose the most hidden. The light does not become more important in one place or less important in another. The sky above is now lavender and blue. One star appears, then another. You remain on the hill for a while. The handcart stands beside you. The lantern waits on its post. A breeze moves through the thyme, releasing its scent. There is no pressure to decide. You may notice how easy it is to listen when no answer is demanded. The breath arrives. The breath leaves. The island rests below. As you look across the landscape, you notice a path you have not yet taken. It leads down the eastern side of the hill toward a small cottage near a grove of olive trees. One window faces the sea. A lamp glows inside. Leora follows your gaze. That is your cottage, she says. We can visit it before choosing. You return the lantern to the cart. The path down is smooth and gradual. Low stones border it. Small flowers close their petals as you pass. The cottage is painted cream with a pale green door. A covered veranda wraps around two sides. A hammock hangs beneath the olive trees, still in the evening air. Inside, the rooms are simple and welcoming. The sitting room has a wide sofa, a woven rug, and shelves holding bowls, shells, and a few books. The kitchen table is set with bread, cheese, figs, and a jar of honey. A carafe of water catches the light. The bedroom opens through double doors to a private garden. A low bed is covered with white linen. Above it, a ceiling fan turns slowly, moving the warm air without sound. On the windowsill is an empty space. It is exactly the size of the lantern. You place it there. Though it is still unlit, something about the position feels natural. From the window, the light would be visible along the eastern path. Anyone walking from the library would see it. Boats beyond the harbor might catch its glow. The olive trees would hold it between their branches. But most of all, the light would be here, close to the room where you will rest. Leora looks around the cottage. The first light is also a welcome, she says. It may welcome a whole island or one traveler. Both are enough. You understand that you have chosen. The lantern will stay on the cottage windowsill. There is no ceremony. No announcement is needed. Leora opens a small panel at its base and touches a match to the wick. The flame catches. Warm gold fills the clear glass. At once, the room seems to settle around it. The shelves become softer. The rug deepens in color. The garden beyond the window turns blue beneath the evening sky. Outside, lights begin appearing across the island. A lamp glows in the beach pavilion. Small lanterns shine beneath the fig tree in the orchard. The spring garden lights its path. The library closes its blue shutters around a warm interior. The hilltop post remains empty, but above it the first stars provide their own gentle light. Your lantern did not need to be everywhere. Its glow has joined a larger pattern. Before Leora leaves, you walk together through the cottage garden. A narrow path circles beds of lavender, basil, and pale evening flowers. A stone basin collects water from a tiny spring. Near the olive grove is a pergola covered in grape vines, with a long cushioned bench beneath it. From the garden, the lantern in the bedroom window can be seen through the leaves. It looks both near and far, like a star that has chosen to live at the height of a human hand. At the end of the path is a small gate opening toward the eastern shore. The sea below is sheltered by a natural curve of land. A line of flat stones leads only a short distance to a bench above the sand. You sit there for a moment. Across the water, the library's last window dims. Farther north, the warm spring garden glows behind trees. On the hill, real stars gather above the empty lantern post. The island has become a map made from gentle lights. Leora points toward the harbor, where the ferry is now only a dark shape beside the pier. Nothing leaves before morning, she says. Even the boats sleep here. You return through the garden. The lantern appears between the olive branches, disappears behind the pergola, then appears again at the cottage window. The repetition is comforting. There is the light. There it is again. Home remaining visible. At the veranda, Leora leaves a small clay tile beside the door. It bears the same square mark you pressed into the courtyard tablet. For the first light keeper, she says. Then she takes the handcart back toward the harbor. Your lantern did not need to be everywhere. Its glow has joined a larger pattern. Leora takes the handcart back toward the harbor. By morning the sun will find it, she says. There is no need for you to watch. She leaves the cottage door unlocked only until you choose to close it. Her footsteps fade along the path. You prepare a simple plate from the food on the table. Bread, a little cheese, one fig, perhaps the peach from the orchard. The flavors are mild and fresh. You open the untitled book from the library. Its first picture shows the western beach in early morning, pale pink light across the water. The next shows the orchard after rain. Another shows steam rising from the warm spring beneath winter stars. The final picture is unfinished. It shows the outline of a cottage window, but the artist has left the lantern blank. You look toward the real lantern glowing on your sill. Perhaps tomorrow someone will paint it in. Or perhaps the blank space is meant to remain, so every reader may imagine a different light. You close the book. The island has become fully quiet now. The harbor boats rest beneath their covers. The bakery is dark, except for the ovens cooling behind the wall. The gardener has left the orchard terrace. The spring pools continue their gentle flow. The librarian has placed the keys beside her bed. The paths remain open, but no one needs to walk them. Before going to the bedroom, you lower the lamps in the sitting room one by one. The shelf lamp dims first, leaving the bowls and shells in soft shadow. The kitchen lamp comes next, though a small light remains above the water carafe. The veranda lamp stays on, making the garden path visible through the open door. You place the lemon thyme in a cup near the sink. Its scent joins the faint fragrance of olive leaves drifting through the screen. In a drawer, you find a set of thin linen curtains for the bedroom. They are already tied back, but you may let one fall across the edge of the window, softening the lantern without hiding it. The untitled picture book rests on the bedside table. The clay tile from Leora lies beside it, marked with the simple square of the lantern frame. You set the tile on the book, as though keeping your place in a story you do not need to finish. You take the lantern into the bedroom and return it to the windowsill there. Its glow reaches the edge of the bed. You settle beneath the linen, or allow the imagined cottage bed to blend with the place where you are already resting. The air is warm and comfortable. Olive leaves move faintly beyond the screen. The sea is visible as a dark blue band beneath the stars. The first light has found its place. The choice is complete. Nothing else is needed. Perhaps you remember the beach pavilion. Perhaps the fig tree remains above a long, empty table. Perhaps the spring shines in your mind like a clear glass bowl. Perhaps the library becomes only a white building with blue shutters. The island's details can now become softer. Paths can join without maps. Gardens can open into one another. The hill may become a green curve beneath the stars. The cottage window may become the warm center of everything. The cottage garden becomes quieter than before. The lavender releases a little more fragrance as the air cools. The water in the stone basin makes one soft sound when it reaches the overflow. Olive leaves turn their pale undersides toward the sea breeze. From your bed, you may imagine the island's paths continuing without footsteps. The path from the cottage to the library lies empty beneath the stars. The path from the library to the tea terrace crosses the sleeping pond. The path from the spring to the shell courtyard holds the faint scent of ginger and warm stone. The orchard path passes beneath branches heavy with fruit. The beach path reaches the pavilion, where one small lamp now glows above the quiet sand. Every route is open, none needs to be traveled. Perhaps a dream begins on the island after midnight. In the dream, morning may arrive without waking you. The western beach may turn gold. The orchard may fill with birdsong too distant to disturb your sleep. The spring may reflect a sky the color of pearl. Every path may lead easily to a place where you are welcome. You do not need to choose the dream, just as you did not need to choose perfectly for the lantern. One gentle image can become another. Sea into sky. Path into garden. Lantern into star. The flame on the windowsill grows smaller as the wick settles. It is still enough. Warm light. Olive leaves. Quiet sea. The ceiling fan turns slowly above. Your breathing continues below. No basket needs opening tonight. No path needs following. No morning needs arriving early. The island can keep its own time. The first light becomes the last light. Then even that distinction begins to fade. Only a glow beside the window. Only the soft outline of the cottage. Only the calm sea beyond the garden. The next breath arrives. The next breath leaves. Warm light. Gentle island. A morning waiting somewhere beyond sleep, and nothing more to do until it comes.